Want to stop arguing about how advantage and disadvantage work at the table? Let's settle it once and for all. So this is straight from the 2024 free rules glossary found on dndbeyond.com. If you have advantage on a d20 test, roll 2 d20s and use the higher roll. A roll can't be affected by more than one advantage, and advantage and disadvantage on the same roll cancel each other out. Also see Playing the Game, d20 tests. Disadvantage is the other side of that. If you have disadvantage on a d20 test, roll 2 d20s and use the lower roll. A roll can't be affected by more than one disadvantage, and advantage and disadvantage on the same roll cancel each other out. Also found in the Player's Handbook on page 12, it reads, if multiple situations affect a roll and they all grant advantage on it, you simply roll 2 d20s. Similarly, if multiple situations impose disadvantage on a roll, you only roll 2 d20s. There's no such thing as super advantage. Now, if circumstances cause a roll to have both advantage and disadvantage, the roll then has neither of them, and you only roll 1 d20. This is true even if multiple circumstances impose disadvantage and only one grants advantage, or vice versa. In this situation, you have neither advantage nor disadvantage. So simply, advantage is just rolling 2 dice and keeping the better roll. Disadvantage is the opposite of that. When you have disadvantage on something, you roll 2 dice and you keep the lower roll. Lots of situations can cause a DM to give you advantage or disadvantage on something. We'll look at an example in a second where if a player is prone, then other creatures have advantage on attacks at them. Same thing goes with being hidden. You have advantage on attacks. A common homebrew rule is that if there are two players, and they're both engaged in combat with the same creature, those players will get advantage because of a rule called flanking. This is actually a holdup from another game. It is not written in D&D 5e, but Critical Role does it, and they do it really, really well. It's something that I enforce at my tables because I feel like it's more fun when you're able to gang up on something, and for me, it's more fun when my monsters are able to gang up on the players. But you just roll your game, and as a DM, you have to figure out what works for your table. Your rogue, Slim, is trying to sneak past a guard. You've got advantage from invisibility, but there's sand crunching underfoot, giving you disadvantage. That cancels out, and you roll just 1 die. Now, here's our next example. Hagar is attacking with advantage from the enemy being in the affected area of fairy fire, and the target is also prone. Even though you're getting advantage from 2 different sources, there is no super advantage. So you roll 2 d20s, no more than that. And finally, let's add a little bit something to this scenario. Let's say that Hagar's enemy has sprayed him in the eyes with ink, and so Hagar is blind. Now, attacking when you cannot see the enemy gives you disadvantage. So we have advantage for fairy fire, we have advantage for being prone, but we also have disadvantage for being blinded. So what does that leave us? Well, rules as written, raw, it leaves us with just a straight roll. Many people think that if you have 2 advantages and 1 instance of disadvantage, it would be 2 minus 1, leaving you to still have that advantage left. But that's actually not how it's written in the rules. So rules clearly state when a situation or a roll is affected by both advantage and disadvantage, no matter how many different things may be giving you one or the other, it is just a straight roll, 1 die. So that's the basics of it. It's a pretty simple rule once you get it down, even if some players who have been playing for a long time may get it wrong. Advantage gives you 2 die and you take the better of the pair. Disadvantage giving you 2 die and you take the worse of the pair. Advantage and disadvantage come in many different forms. There are all kinds of effects that do it, not just for attack rolls, but also ability checks, saves. There's a bunch of different things that affect it within the game. So let's say you're rolling with advantage and your DM has given you heroic inspiration. We'll talk about that in just a second. But you have heroic inspiration and you roll 2 die. what you can do is it allows you to reroll a single die, not both of them, but just one. So take your lowest die, roll it, and you have to keep that one. If it's advantage, you get to pick which one is higher. You do not get to reroll both the dice. So here's a DM tip. DMs, if you want to reward creative roleplay or just excellent whatever they're doing, don't be afraid to give them that heroic inspiration I was just talking about. This is basically an emergency advantage that the players can use at any time if they're doing a really good job of role-playing, or if their character arc has hit a specific spot, or you just really need something to happen and you think it makes a better story. Hand it out like candy. Makes it a fun game. So, got any questions about the rules? Drop them down in the comments. I'd love to see what else you'd like to see added to the codex. So go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button if you did roll high on understanding. And this is Jared from Carpe Diem.